Hello there, I am Luna, and welcome to Stories for Sleepless Nights. This is a place where we share tales from history, delve into fascinating myths, explore the wonders of nature, uncover inspiring biographies, ponder deep philosophy, and many other topics. Our aim is to help you relax, unwind, and gently drift off to sleep. We always love to hear from you, so please feel free to leave a comment with any topics you would like us to cover in future stories. And if you have not already, make sure to follow us on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube to catch all our new episodes. Tonight, we embark on a journey into the heart of ancient Greek mythology to tell the heroic tale of Perseus. He was the son of the mighty god Zeus, the brave warrior who faced and defeated the fearsome Gorgon Medusa and the rescuer of the beautiful princess Andromeda. It is a story filled with destiny, courage, and divine intervention. Before we begin our story, let us take a moment to settle in and prepare for a peaceful night's rest. Find a comfortable position, whether you are lying down or sitting. Gently close your eyes if you feel ready. Let us take 3 slow, deep breaths together. Breathe in slowly through your nose, feeling your belly rise. Hold it for just a moment, and then release the air slowly through your mouth, letting go of any tension. Again, breathe in deeply through your nose, filling your lungs. Hold it, and exhale slowly, feeling your shoulders drop. One last time, a deep breath in, drawing in calm. Hold it, and a long, gentle breath out, letting peace settle over you. Now, just let your breathing return to its natural, easy rhythm. Allow your body to feel heavy and supported. Let your mind quiet down as we begin our story. King Acrisius ruled the city of Argos. He was a king filled with great fear. He lived in constant worry about his future. King Acrisius had a daughter named Danae. She was known for her great beauty. One day, Acrisius went to an oracle. An oracle was a wise person who could see the future. The oracle told Acrisius a terrible prophecy. It said that his own grandson would one day kill him. This news filled the king with even more dread. He became obsessed with trying to change his fate. To stop the prophecy, Acrisius decided to imprison Danae. He locked her away in a strong bronze chamber. This chamber was deep underground, like a hidden room. He believed that if Danae could not meet any man, she could not have a son. And so, no grandson would be born to kill him. But the mighty god Zeus saw Danae. He was drawn to her beauty, even in her prison. Zeus found a way to visit her. He transformed himself into a shower of pure golden rain. The golden drops flowed through the roof of the bronze chamber. They fell upon Danae. From this divine union, a child was conceived. This child was Perseus. His birth was a true miracle, a gift from the gods. When King Acrisius discovered the infant Perseus, his fear returned. He saw the baby as a living sign of the prophecy. He knew he could not kill his own daughter or grandson directly. That would anger the gods too much. So he thought of a different, cruel plan. Acrisius ordered his servants to build a large wooden chest. He placed Danae and her tiny baby, Perseus, inside this chest. The lid was nailed shut. Then the chest was carried to the sea. The king's men pushed it out into the vast, open waters. They watched as it floated away from the shore. Danae and Perseus were now adrift. The wooden chest tossed and turned on the waves. It drifted for many days and nights. They faced the dangers of the open sea, but fate had a different path for them. The currents carried the chest far away. Eventually, it washed ashore. It landed gently on the sandy beaches of a small island. This island was called Seriphos. They had survived their perilous journey. The wooden chest drifted onto the shores of Seriphos. A kind and humble fisherman named Dictys was walking along the beach. He saw the strange chest bobbing in the shallow water. He pulled it to shore. When he opened it, he found a beautiful woman and a tiny baby boy inside. Dictys was filled with pity. He took Danae and baby Perseus into his own simple home. He cared for them as if they were his own family. Perseus grew up on the island of Seriphos. Dictys protected him and his mother. He taught Perseus how to fish and how to live off the land. Perseus became a strong and brave young man. He was known for his courage and his kind heart, just like Dictys. But Dictys had a brother, King Polydectes, who ruled Seriphos. Polydectes was a very different man. He was ambitious and cruel. He had seen Danae and wanted her for himself. He tried many times to win her over, but Danae always refused him. Perseus, now grown, stood as a protector for his mother. This made King Polydectes very angry. He saw Perseus as a constant annoyance, always getting in his way. Polydectes began to think of a plan to get rid of Perseus. He needed to send the young hero far away, on a quest from which he would not return. So, King Polydectes announced a grand banquet. He invited all the important people of the island. He told everyone that he was planning to marry. He said that he expected each guest to bring a horse as a wedding gift. Perseus attended the banquet, but he was poor. He did not own a horse, nor did he have the money to buy one. He felt a deep shame as other guests presented their fine steeds. Polydectes looked at Perseus with a sneer. He pressed Perseus to offer a gift like everyone else. In a moment of youthful pride and frustration, Perseus spoke loudly. He declared that he would bring Polydectes any gift he wished. He even boasted that he would bring the king the head of the Gorgon Medusa. King Polydectes heard this, and a smile spread across his face. This was exactly what he wanted. He knew the Gorgons were terrifying monsters. Medusa, especially, had snakes for hair and a gaze that could turn any living thing to stone. He quickly accepted Perseus's offer. He ordered Perseus to bring him Medusa's head. Polydectes believed this impossible task would lead to Perseus's death. He thought he would finally be free to take Danae for his wife. Perseus, bound by his boast, had no choice but to accept the deadly quest. Perseus felt a great wave of despair wash over him. The task he had so boastfully accepted seemed impossible. How could a mortal man, even a brave one, face a monster whose gaze turned living things to stone? He knew he had no hope of succeeding on his own, but the gods had seen Perseus's courage and his pure heart. They decided to help him. The wise goddess Athena and the swift messenger god Hermes came to his aid. They offered him guidance and the special tools he would need. First, Perseus had to find the Gree. These were 3 ancient sisters who lived in a dark, distant land. They were very old, even older than the gods. They shared only one eye and one tooth among them. They passed the eye from one to another when it was their turn to see. Perseus traveled to their gloomy cave. He waited patiently until one sister passed the eye to another. In that brief moment When the eye was in midair, Perseus quickly snatched it. The Greek cried out in confusion and anger. They were blind and helpless without their eye. Perseus refused to give it back until they told him what he needed to know. He demanded they reveal the path to the nymphs of the north. The old sisters, with no other choice, finally told him the way. Perseus then journeyed to find these nymphs. When he reached them, they welcomed him and gave him 3 powerful magical gifts. First, they gave him Hades' cap of darkness. When worn, this cap made the wearer completely invisible. Next, they gave him Hermes' winged sandals. These sandals allowed him to fly through the air with great speed. Finally, they gave him the kibices, a special leather pouch. This pouch was enchanted to safely hold the head of the Gorgon Medusa without harm to anyone. The goddess Athena also gave Perseus a gift. It was a highly polished bronze shield. Its surface was so bright and smooth that it worked like a perfect mirror. Hermes, in turn, gave Perseus a curved, very sharp sword called an adamantine scimitar. This blade was strong enough to cut through anything. With these divine gifts, Perseus was ready to face the Gorgons. He flew across the sky until he reached their lair. The Gorgons were terrifying to behold. Medusa, in particular, was a horrifying sight. Instead of hair, she had a mass of venomous snakes writhing on her head. Her most dreadful feature was her gaze. Anyone who looked directly into her eyes would instantly turn to solid stone. Perseus knew he could not look at Medusa directly. He remembered Athena's advice. He approached the Gorgon's cave very carefully. He held up his polished bronze shield. He used its reflective surface as a mirror to see Medusa's image without meeting her eyes. He watched her reflection as she slept. He flew closer, silently and steadily. When he was close enough, he acted swiftly. With a powerful swing of Hermes' sharp scimitar, he cut off Medusa's head. Blood gushed from her neck. From the wound, 2 miraculous beings sprang forth. Pegasus, a magnificent winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant warrior. Medusa's immortal sisters, Astheno and Uriel, awoke with angry roars. They saw their sister headless and dead. They flew into a rage, searching for the killer. But Perseus quickly put on Hades' cap of darkness. He became completely invisible. He placed Medusa's head carefully into the kibices, the special pouch. Then, using his winged sandals, he flew away from the enraged Gorgons, escaping their grasp and their screams. After escaping the enraged Gorgons, Perseus continued his flight through the air. He flew over vast lands and wide oceans, carried by Hermes' winged sandals. During his long journey, he encountered the mighty Titan Atlas, who held the sky on his shoulders. Atlas was not kind and refused to offer Perseus any hospitality. Feeling angry, Perseus showed him the terrifying head of Medusa. Atlas instantly turned into a giant mountain, his body becoming the Atlas Mountains we know today, still appearing to hold up the sky. Perseus flew for many more days. Finally, he arrived in the sunny kingdom of Ethiopia. This land was ruled by King Cepheus and his wife, Queen Cassiopeia. But the kingdom was in great trouble. Queen Cassiopeia was very proud of her beauty. She often boasted that she was even more beautiful than the Nereids, who were lovely sea nymphs. This boast angered Poseidon, the mighty god of the sea. To punish Cassiopeia for her pride, Poseidon sent a terrible sea monster. Its name was Cetus. This beast rose from the deep ocean. It had huge teeth and scales like armor. Cetus began to destroy the Ethiopian coast. It sank ships and ate people. The people of Ethiopia lived in great fear. King Cepheus sought advice from an oracle. The oracle delivered a grim message. To calm Poseidon's anger and save the kingdom, they had to make a great sacrifice. They had to offer their own daughter, the innocent princess Andromeda, to the monster Cetus. Perseus flew along the coast. He saw a heartbreaking sight. A young woman was chained to a tall rock by the sea. She was completely helpless. Her long hair blew in the wind. Her eyes were filled with tears. This was Princess Andromeda, waiting for the sea monster to come and devour her. Perseus felt a mix of awe at her beauty and deep pity for her terrible fate. Perseus landed near the rock. He walked towards the princess. He asked her why she was chained there. Andromeda, shy and fearful, told him her sad story. Perseus, moved by her plight, offered to save her. In return, he asked for her hand in marriage. Her parents, King Cepheus and Queen Cassiopeia, who watched from a distance, quickly agreed to his offer. They were desperate to save their daughter. Suddenly, the sea began to churn. The monstrous Cetus rose from the waves. It was a terrifying sight, with scales like 1,000 shields and a mouth big enough to swallow a horse. It surged towards Andromeda. Perseus flew into action. He drew Hermes' sharp scimitar. He darted around the monster, slashing at its tough hide. The battle was fierce. Cetus thrashed its massive tail, creating huge waves. Perseus used his winged sandals to stay out of reach. He found a weak spot and struck with his sword. He might have even shown the monster Medusa's head for a moment, turning parts of it to stone. Finally, with a mighty blow, Perseus defeated the monster. It sank beneath the waves, its body lifeless. Perseus quickly freed Andromeda from her chains. He held her hand and led her to her grateful parents. The kingdom rejoiced. A grand wedding feast was planned to celebrate Perseus and Andromeda's union. Everyone was happy. But during the feast, a new trouble arose. Phineus, Andromeda's uncle and her former fiancé, burst into the hall. He was angry and brought many armed men with him. He claimed Andromeda was his and tried to take her by force. Perseus tried to reason with Phineus, but Phineus and his men attacked. Perseus knew he had to act quickly. He pulled Medusa's head from the kibices, the special pouch. He held it up for all to see. Phineus and his conspirators, caught by surprise, looked directly at the horrific face. One by one, they turned into rigid, lifeless statues of stone. The hall became silent, filled with stone figures frozen in their attacking poses. Perseus had saved his bride once more. After his triumphant wedding to Andromeda in Ethiopia, Perseus decided it was time to return home. He and his new wife began their journey back to the island of Seriphos. Perseus had completed his quest, saved Andromeda, and now carried the head of Medusa safely in his special pouch. When they arrived back on Seriphos, Perseus found the island in a terrible state. King Polydectes had become even more cruel and tyrannical. He had continued to harass Danae, Perseus's mother, and had even mistreated Dictys, the kind fisherman who had raised Perseus. Dictys and Danae had been forced to hide in a temple, seeking refuge from the wicked king. Perseus, filled with anger at what he saw, went straight to the royal court. He walked into the hall where Polydectes was holding court with his followers. Polydectes was surprised to see Perseus, whom he had expected to be long dead. The king mocked Perseus, asking if he had brought the Gorgon's head as he promised. Perseus did not speak many words. He simply said that he had indeed brought the gift. Then, with a swift movement, he pulled Medusa's head from the kibices. He held it up high for everyone to see. Polydectes and all his corrupt courtiers, caught off guard, stared directly into the terrifying eyes of the Gorgon. In an instant, they were frozen. Their bodies stiffened, their expressions fixed in horror or surprise, and they all turned into lifeless statues of stone. The hall became quiet, filled only with the rigid figures of those who had wronged Perseus's family. The island of Seriphos was finally free from the cruel king. Perseus then sought out Dictys and Danae. He rescued them from the temple. With Polydectes gone, Perseus declared that Dictys, the good and humble fisherman, should be the new king of Seriphos. Dictys, who had always been kind, ruled wisely and justly. Having finished his great tasks, Perseus began to return the magical items he had been given. He gave the winged sandals, the cap of darkness, and the kibices, pouch back to the nymphs. He also returned the curved, adamantine scimitar and the polished bronze shield to Hermes and Athena, thanking them for their divine help. But Perseus still had a desire in his heart. He wanted to return to his true homeland, the kingdom of Argus, with Andromeda. However, his grandfather, King Acrisius, was still alive and still feared the prophecy. He had heard tales of Perseus's heroic deeds, and fearing his grandson, had fled from Argus. Acrisius traveled to the city of Larissa, hoping to escape his fate. Perseus with Andromeda traveled to Larissa. He did not know his grandfather was there. In Larissa, athletic games were being held. Perseus, being strong and skilled, decided to take part in the discus throw competition. He picked up the heavy discus and spun around, gathering speed. He threw it with all his might. But as the discus flew through the air, a gust of wind, or perhaps divine will, caused it to swerve sharply off course. The discus flew into the crowd of spectators. It struck an old man squarely on the head. The man fell to the ground and died instantly. Perseus rushed over, horrified by what he had done. To his deep sorrow, he discovered that the man he had accidentally killed was his own grandfather, King Acrisius. The ancient prophecy had come true, despite all efforts to prevent it. Fate, it seemed, could not be avoided. Perseus was heartbroken. Because he had killed his grandfather, even by accident, he felt he could not rightfully inherit the throne of Argus. Instead, he decided to exchange kingdoms with his cousin, Megapenthe. Megapenthe became king of Argus, and Perseus became the king of Tiryns. Perseus ruled Tiryns for many years with Andromeda by his side. He also founded a great and famous city nearby. He built strong walls and tall towers, and he named this new city Mycenae. Perseus became a revered hero and was known as the ancestor of many famous figures, including the mighty Hercules. His story became a tale of courage, divine help, and the inescapable power of destiny. Now, as our story of Perseus comes to an end, it is time for you to find your own peace and rest. Let us gently shift our focus from the ancient tales to your own body. Allow yourself to settle comfortably, perhaps adjusting your pillow or blanket. Take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling your chest rise, and then slowly release it through your mouth, letting go of any tension you might be holding. Take another deep breath, filling your lungs, and then exhale completely, feeling your body soften. Now bring your attention to your feet. Notice the feeling of your toes, perhaps wiggling them gently. Feel the soles of your feet resting. Just observe any sensations there without trying to change anything. Slowly, let your awareness move up from your feet into your ankles, then your calves, and up into your knees. Feel your legs resting, heavy and supported. Continue to move your attention upward, noticing your thighs and then your hips. Feel your lower back, then your stomach and your chest. With each breath, feel your body becoming a little softer, a little more relaxed. Bring your awareness to your hands. Notice your fingers, your palms. Then move up through your wrists, forearms, and elbows into your upper arms and shoulders. Allow your shoulders to drop, releasing any tightness. Finally, bring your attention to your neck, allowing it to relax. Then move up to your head, feeling the muscles of your face soften. Allow your jaw to loosen, your eyelids to gently rest. Simply observe your body from your head all the way down to your toes. Let your entire body feel heavy, warm, and deeply relaxed. Just be present with the quiet calm that settles over you. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Stories for Sleepless Nights, and that it helped you find a sense of rest and quiet for your thoughts. You can find Stories for Sleepless Nights on Spotify and YouTube. If there is a particular story or topic you would like to hear about in a future episode, please feel free to share your ideas in the comments. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am Luna, and I hope to join you again very soon for another story. Until then, I wish you a very good night.